Okay. Whoa, everyone just relax. So, we are currently reopening the 131 discussion. Not just because Core 1 aired, which had Aaron's confession in it, but also because IGN, surprisingly, released a very nice review of Attack on Titan, including the 131 confession of our interpretation. Before we get into that, make sure to check out Fuji Bear. It's our baby formula company. So if you guys have any children, I know most of you guys are not adults, but by a slim chance you have a kid or you know anyone has a kid, it's some of the best formula. I mean, all the information's on the page. Just try it out. So without further ado, let's get into this. So, and here's the thing with me. Like, I jokingly call myself a scholar, right? But in all seriousness, I do a lot of research on this topic. So anytime these old-ass interviews come up, the interview started from 2 years ago, I just get annoyed because I'm like, why are you acting like this is some sort of unearthed gold that I haven't seen before? People say, well, have you heard of the Muffalo thing? Yes, I have heard of the Muffalo thing. In fact, the Muffalo thing was in the first volume of Attack on Titan. So it's quite early that people knew about the Buffalo thing. But this interview was 2020, and it resurfaced, and all of a sudden the ending haters are taking the chance to jump on it. So let me read the interview, and a word of note, this, I don't know how well this is translated. It appears as if it's being translated by the person asking Siyama the question. I think he's bilingual. I don't know. I don't have full information on the translation, so if anyone has any insight to that, because as we all know, the translation is very important. And before any of you guys call that a cope or a cop-out, I know some of you ending haters are watching. In fact, a large majority of you ending haters. You have to remember that when 131 was fan-translated, it was translated in so horrifically that it was, I mean, it said, Aaron said it's the only way to say parody, right? Which is not what he said in the manga. So here's the thing. I'm going to read this interview and I'll present to you the dilemma and we'll talk about it. I asked about Aaron being disappointed with Outside World. He asked, what does that mean? And he said, this is right after the beginning. He says, well, concretely, at what point was he really, Aaron, disappointed? I thought it was after reading Grish's notebooks, but I ended up reading too much into the words when I learned humanity existed. Reading too much into the words when I learned humanity existed. And it became progressively hard for me to understand since we're talking about Aaron. Isayama says, so it's like that, he laughs. Really, well, I don't know, I'm not sure, which I hate when he does this, I don't know why. Like, I'm the biggest Isayama stan you'll find, and even I can't stand like how he does the interviews, I can't stand it. But moving on from that, maybe it's that he wanted to believe that out there somehow, maybe there was something vast waiting beyond that no one knew about yet, which is directly referenced in 131, right? And which is the chapter the convention scene happens in. The chapter ends with, I want to believe that there's somewhere we still don't know about beyond the walls. That's how it ends, with Aaron in his puppet string, eyes closed thing. Now again, I'm fully aware that changed that in the anime. It doesn't really. We're not talking about AoE right now. We're talking about Aaron's motivation in the manga, and so that's not really relevant. We can talk about AoE later. However, again, that's the chapter ends, and this guy who was tweeting it was cherry picking it. He was putting. The ACL originally answered the question with this, saying he first said he wants to believe there's someone to explore outside the walls, right? So let's continue. The guy says, then the only time he's disappointed was after he saw Grish's notebooks after all. Oh, maybe he's not bilingual, maybe he's Japanese. And then he just got translated. Anyway, we're continuing. Or was it after kissing the store's hands? Isayama says it was Grish's notebooks. Literally, that there were really people outside after all. But, now, again, this is when I went to translation. This is a very important word. I don't know what exactly Isayama said here. But this word is extremely important. Because, I mean, this one word can change everything. But again, continuing, assuming this is properly translated. But they were so hostile, and how can I put it? And, notice an and. So they were hostile, and there was something else. So it was that they're hostile to parody, and there's something else. Like we've all been saying, people are saying, "Ha ha!" Any defenders, we got you. Eren is a psychopath. He simply wants to defend his island. Well, I knew he wanted to defend his island. I've said that for years. I don't know if you knew this or not. I am a Jaegerist. I support the Rumbling. Everyone's out here after seeing Core 1 saying, "Oh, the Rumbling's so horrible. How could you support it?" I still do. But besides that, yes, we know it's the island. Yes, we know the Rumbling is, I don't know if necessary is a word, but the Rumbling is used for the island. We know that. And Eren said that. We all of us knew that. When we said he wants to kill humanity, we didn't mean for simply existing. That's ridiculous. No one, no any defender, no anybody, invaders, no one has ever said, not once, that he just wanted to kill them for simply existing. For just simply existing and being around. No. You're completely wrong. No one's ever said that. We tried to interpret why, right? I've said over and over again, he wants to make a world for his citizens. So I said, Sage Rain, among others, says he wants to, exactly as Yana said, Sage Rain had it closer than I did. He said he wants to do something outside the walls, something vast, way that no one knew about yet. So, again, this is exactly like, this is why the Reiner conversation is so important. Because here's the crazy thing. Reiner was actually put in a pickle. Reiner actually had no choice but to invade Paradis. How and same thing with Walt. What was in a legitimate predicament. He was legitimately in trouble. And I bring up Walt to say, because IGN said it was about Walt. I said it was similar to Walt. I said it was like the Walt scene. So we're just comparing. But Eren says the same to Reiner. So we're gonna go with Reiner now. He is, and that's another thing. That's what I like about the Warriors too. Is that Floch and Eren are different, just like Annie and Reiner are different, right? Annie had, I would say, more noble intentions. Berthold had more noble intentions, Peek in the rest of them. Reiner, same with Gabi. Reiner was actually put into a pickle. But actually had to invade the island to save his family, which as Jaegerists are saying is a noble goal. You guys want Eren Hisu so that he can have a kid, so that it can be even more noble. Excellent. I'm on board with you. Okay, family's more important than anything. Excellent. Okay, so Reiner's put in a pickle. He has to invade Paradis. It's not his fault. Right? He's being forced into situations. That's the only solution he has. Blah blah blah. Here's the crazy part. Although that's the only option, he still does it for his personal self, personal evil motivations. Of course, Eren's more evil because at least Reiner somewhat kind of makes sense, right? He was rejected by his father and his mother. He wanted to be a hero. Still sick and twisted nonetheless, but a lot better than Eren. Eren just essentially threw a temper tantrum. Now again, I'm not changing the goalpost. A lot of you guys are saying to change the goalpost. Unfortunately for you, I have video evidence of me saying the contrary. I said over and over and over again, he has 4 motivations. Mikasa, his friends, the island, and himself. After 131, right? So I made that very clear on multiple occasions, and lucky for you, I have this short, or a short that I'm going to share later. So about 131. So let's continue. So I understand what it says. So he says, was it after when he saw Grisha's notebooks, when he gets to store his hand? It's now it says those Grisha's notebooks. Learned there were really people outside after all, but they were so hostile. And how can I put it? There was so much war and fighting, and the futility of it all. I think that was disappointing to him too. So I like, and as an Eren defender, I actually like this interview because this interview gives Eren more. I can attribute more layers to Eren because out of Isayama's own mouth, it now appears that Eren has 6 motivations for the Rumbling. Right? He has Mikasa, his friends, his freedom. 5, right? 5 or 6. 5. Mikasa, his friends, the island, vast unexplored world, and my interpretation wants to make the world free of sin. So. That's excellent. And he said, thank you so much. Now, people like to cherry pick this part, and I just want to put a stop to it. Just right now, I want to put a stop to it. Okay, notice again. Eren doesn't like the cycle of violence, the war and fighting, and the futility of it all. Funny enough, I feel like that was something he said in Child of Evil. Scene of the reign of Iron falling was on TV, looks like a movie war of stupid violence. It is a story, here's the crazy thing, here's the crazy part. It is a story of an unrelated and unknown country. Unrelated and unknown country. Then why do I hate them? The reason why I can't hide my dark feelings, I can't even explain why. How come we're so full of contradictions? Now again, if you say I'm not going to use this song as proof, perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. I mean, it's not really fun. The songs have meaning, obviously. But if you want to use the song as proof, I totally understand. It's weak evidence. I understand that. So, I'm just saying, especially since a lot of Hope Chads are bringing this up, Hope Chads, you like to bring up Akuma no Ko. This connects, as I said. Now, here's the dilemma we're in. The dilemma. We have 131, which is one thing. We have Skullcast, which, by the way, relates to canon. Isayama said it relates to canon, so I don't want to hear anything about Skullcast maybe later. Skullcast is related to the canon 100%. I think he said something along the lines that they have the same personalities. I'll try to get the quote for you guys in post. Now, we have Skullcast, which Eren says that Eren woke up one day. Everything was going perfectly fine. It was all peaceful. He lived in a first world country, all peaceful. He said, I'm going to become the danger. So we have that Eren. We have 131 Eren, who said it was to save Eldia, but it's more than that. Or, if we're in anime only, he says it's to save Eldia, but there's more to it than that. Or, sorry, verbatim, but there's more to it than this. So we have this, and then we have this. So how can we synthesize this, or else the story's incoherent? Well, you could say, you could just be lazy and say, oh, the story's incoherent. We have three different versions of Eren. Two different versions of Eren. Or you could say, well, actually, secret, characters can have multiple motivations. So, yes, it was absolutely 100%, definitely part of Eren's motives. 100%, he was not acting to save Eldia. That was 100% part of it. However, it was also, again, notice Isayama mentions this first. He asks him the question. Isayama says he wants a vast unexplored world. That's what comes out of his mouth. That's what comes out of his mouth. And then secondly, he says it could be this too. Which, I mean, knowing how passively Isayama talks, if I took the maybes as at face value, we would have nothing of assurance. So I'm just going to take these maybes as a guarantee. Sorry. So he says it's a vast unexplored world, which was stated in 131, right? With his eyes closed and the puppet strings. Then he says there was also hostile and so they're hostile, but apart from that, he was upset with the war and fertility of all. So what I would say, I'm happy. See, this thing, you guys think that I was upset when I saw this interview? No, I was leaping for joy because it just canonized my interpretation of the story. I was right. Yay me! I get to pat myself on the back. I interpreted it correctly. Which is why at the end of 130 he said, I will destroy them, every last one of those animals that are on this earth. He's referring to humanity as a whole, because they're humans or the animals. Okay? That's why. That's why he revels in killing people who he knows are sympathetic to the Eldian cause. That's why. Because of this. The war of the fighting, the cycle of violence, which cannot be broken, he was upset with it. And that's what disappointed him as well. So, yes, we are still correct. Eren is an evil person who essentially threw its temper tantrum. At worst, he incited a global conflict so that he could throw his temper tantrum. And which, I mean, I'm not gonna force you to believe that, because I mean it is rather subtle and it is kind of implied. So I'm not gonna say he did it. I'm not gonna say he incited the global conflict on purpose. I'm not gonna say that. It's my personal interpretation. You don't have to believe that. What you do have to believe is what Isayama said of his own mouth, what Eren said of his own mouth twice. You have two examples of Eren going out of his way to cause havoc. One in Skullcast, he becomes the danger. Number two, he says again, I don't know how to say this. So wanted to say parody. Yep. But it's more than that. There's something that is separate. Same thing here. They're hostile. And there was so much war and fertility, so much war and fighting, and the futility of it all. Right? As in human nature. Okay. But notice, I really, because the inventors, I want you to understand that these people keep screenshotting this specific part of the interview, leaving out the fact that the first thing in Isaoya's mouth was that he wanted to explore something that was not explored yet. Which makes him more of a psychopath than anything else, right? Am I here to say Aaron's a psychopath? I don't know what psychopath means. I don't know what you mean when you say psychopath, so I'm not going to say is or isn't a psychopath. I already said what I said about this. Okay? And here's a short. Aaron figured it out. Entire time I called Titans monsters, Titans animals, all blah 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 blah, yada yada yada. It's human nature that's to be blamed, and he figured it out that all humans are monsters, even the quote unquote good ones, which is one of the reasons why there's no really truly altruistic person in the show. And as you can see from what you just saw, I've been saying this from the beginning. I'm not changing the goalposts. I'm not backpedaling. I'm not retconning what I said. I have said what I said. This is why I waited till May to start my channel. Because I already thought all of this through. So that when situations like this came up, I didn't end up retconning anything. I have full integrity. Anyway, thanks for watching my video, and I'll see you next one.